no warm-up screen today, boys and girls.
Nah, fuck that bullshit. We're diving right
that
into
shit. Fuck that shit. I can't even get
Exactly.
Philbo on the goddamn phone to go on time, but we're not supposed to be on today anyway, so it's.
exactly.
I mean, it's really a treat for you. You get back-to-back shows, back-to-back,
Back to back. Soon to be back to back to back. Maybe one day. Well, maybe one day.
back-to-back.
Actually, we probably will have to do that in September when I go on the honeymoon. I'm not recording on my.
Or I could just do movie night myself.
That'd be pretty good. Maybe you should get Mater.
Or have well, I mean, I've got a short list on a stable of co-hosts that I could bring in.
Why is stable your go-to word for like people? You know, you could say I have a nice roster. I have a cool lineup. Especially since we're such a baseball, but no, you go for like stable as if they're all just barn animals.
Okay, a bullpen then. How about that? Like that? Okay, so
Okay.
that's still referencing animals.
Sure, but it has another meaning. You're like I put a few of my colleagues out to pasture. Let me go round them up real quick.
Right.
And bring
Well,
them
I
in
mean,
for supper.
Yeah, that's a more accurate depiction of what my friendship with people's like.
They're the barnyard animals and you're the farmer.
Something like that.
I'll have to remember that going forward. I don't really know how I feel about that, to be entirely
Well,
honest.
you're not just any friend. You're my best friend.
Oh man, is that by the prize stallion?
You get to sleep in the house.
I'm the sheepdog that rounds them all up.
Yeah, you're my bottom bitch.
Okay. Do you have a tequila for us, Josh?
I do have a tequila,
All right.
and I'm gonna need your help.
All right, let's do it. 3,
Kick
2,
it.
1. Olay! O to the motherfucking
lay.
lay.
All right, so we got a very special one today, dicks and dickettes. This sassy
looks
bitch
good.
right here is Terramana, which is actually, this is going to be our second installment of celebrity tequilas. Can you guess which celebrity makes this one?
Kevin Hart.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Now, granted, there are like 480 celebrities that make tequila now, so this could take a while. So I'm going to speed it up. Are you ready for this tequila, you Rudy Poo candy ass jabroni?
Hell yeah!
Can you smell what this tequila is cooking?
Jabroni. Is it Dane Cook tequila?
Okay, so apparently you know nothing. This is Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock. Get a quick
nice
cork pop, which, by the way, on the back it lists where the agave comes from the Weber Highlands.
So it's not from Jalisco for once.
No, this is not from Jalisco.
Wow.
Which I did dig into Jalisco, and that's the tequila capital of the world.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
We've already featured 19 tequilas from there, so
right. Exactly.
But no, it lists like the roasting of the agave is done in a brick oven. The stills are copper pot. It's aged in oak barrels. It gives a couple other stats, but I find it funny that it's a certified gluten-free tequila.
Right. Because of all the other gluten and all the other tequilas.
I was about to say, so where the fuck does gluten come from in a tequila?
Listen.
Unless we're just like electrolytes and Gatorade, we're just injecting it in there so it's not gluten-free. Like
exactly.
I live in North Carolina, goddamn it. I like a little gluten in my tequila, all right?
In my tequila?
All right.
Is that what they say at Papa's and beer? Oh, that was a good pop.
We had a sexy one, boys and girls.
That was a good pop.
All right. So hang on, let me drain the water off since it's 94 degrees out here.
Hold on, Josh. Did you put your gain back up a little bit? I don't know where you left it at, but it seems like you're just vibrating a little hard on the high end. So maybe just turn it down a little bit. You still sound fantastic as always.
Oh man, I'm fucking
there. We go.
Smooth. All right.
Sexy.
I did get a little loud there for a second. All right.
That's the only way you know how to live.
Right. So most people, it's a little early on a Friday to drink, but I'm not most people. So, ooh, That looks for a reposado. I mean, this is reposado. That looks nice and clear over some rocks.
Bro.
All
Oh,
right. We're going with we are sponsored by the tree now, so we're going to be doing Rockstar,
Sponsored by the tree.
and we're also look. This is my new favorite flavor, by the way. This is tart cherry limeade Polar Pop. This shit is fucking right, kid.
Ooh, I'm a fan.
So I know a lot of our normal Saturday residents are watching, but we're gonna cheers for you anyway for the playback. So
100%. We don't fuck around, homie.
we don't, dude,
Except for when we fuck
Oh,
around. We dick around
dick
always,
around,
though.
motherfucker. All right. So cheers out there to everybody. Philbo, you're a beautiful 5-head bastard. Cheers to the beautiful subscribers and that one ugly one we don't really talk too much. And then all the followers. Look, I'll be taking shots for followers today. And
it's a good idea.
Subscribers. Usually it's subscribers, but I'll be taking shots for followers. So every time I see a ding, I'll take a shot. Look, I got time for a nap before the Thundercat gets home.
Every time you get there.
Anyway. Love you, Philbo. Love everybody. Gonna be a great fucking episode. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. But real quick, I did make my own tea today.
Was it what flavor boba?
Pineapple? Yeah, I don't know. Fucking no, it's just regular good old
boba.
Black tea. I bought the water. I used this so I could store it in the fridge because I don't have a pitcher that's big enough to hold all the tea that I was gonna make. So I bought like a gallon of water at the store so I could use the gallon in the fridge, and I made my own tea. I'm making my own tea between now and the wedding.
I mean, just for your brand, that seems counterintuitive. Like, why wouldn't you just use the spare bedroom full of Milo's empty gallons?
Well, because I throw them out. You know, I may be a collector of the Milos, but it's only one at a time. For the refrigerator.
Or did you finally make your Castaway style raft with them, just so when climate change finally floods that far inland, that you'll be good?
Right, exactly, because the fucking situation. Yeah, well, look, climate change has already found its way here because it's 1,000,000 fucking degrees outside. So that's what all the kids are saying these days.
It's a real thing, and I was looking into climate change the other day, and did you know what I learned? A fun fact. That
what's the fun fact?
My God.
Out of all the North Atlantic icebergs, 3% of the water used is actually penguin urine.
My God.
Wait. From the icebergs, or just like
the icebergs are constructed of 3% penguin urine.
That's pretty cool. Wait, but that you said the North Atlantic icebergs?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the Antarctic? There's no penguins in the Arctic. How does that even happen?
Well, water flows.
I got that. Does it really?
If the entire ocean is comprised of, I think what it is like 8% salt and like 40% fish urine.
Yeah, and then, like 10% whale cum or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then the closer you get to New York, it's like 8% fucking 8% witness bodies.
Right, human remains, exactly. New York, New Jersey.
New York. Mainly Absolutely. New York.
But so you're saying like that the penguins pee all the way down in Antarctica, right? And then it just flows through the currents, and then it somehow gets refrozen in the North Atlantic, the Arctic.
Yep.
I feel like that just wasn't in the article, and you're making it up.
No, I saw it in a movie. I just thought it was funny.
Oh God.
Oh man. So anyway, so we didn't mention this, but anybody that watches this, we did a fucking movie night last night, and it was fan-fucking-tastic. We watched one of the worst movies of all time, The Room, and people really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. We'll be doing it again. But if you missed it, go back and watch that, especially if you've never seen The Room, because the only way to watch The Room is with two people shitting on it the whole time.
At least two. You need a group. The more friends you have, the more fun you'll have, for sure.
I mean, granted, we did watch it at the cabin, and we had 5 people shitting on it the whole time. So
True.
I don't know which one was a better experience, but I know I mean, I don't really connect long-term memories very well. So the most recent one is freshest in my mind, and I had a fucking blast last night. So
Well, and the most recent one was the most important one because it aired, and oh my god, dude, it was so fucking good. I had a blast. We made jokes we had never like made before. We really picked up on Denny being a fucking pervert drug dealer. There's a lot of ketamine involved. I'm sure there was a lot of actual ketamine involved on set too. So
oh yeah,
back to the production.
Oh yeah, they didn't have a local pharmacist; they had a local veterinarian supplying their drug needs.
Right, exactly.
Because that's Chris R's style. Anyway, go back and check that out. Do yourself a favor and watch that because it's fucking great through and through.
And we encourage y'all to whenever we do future movie nights, if you guys want to dress up as well, take a picture and send it to us. We actually do have an email address.
We do have an email.
Yeah, so you could take pictures and share with us, and we'll put them up on the podcast in a few. I believe. Now, hold on. I got to pull up what the email address.
Actually, let's not do that because look, we got our TikTok displaying right there. Just go hit us up on TikTok and send us a message on TikTok, and we'll feature it on there. Let's leave the email for the let's leave the email for the professional ventures.
Fair enough.
China's no trustworthy, but I trust them with a couple photos.
Right, exactly.
Just don't be smoking, drinking. Don't be racist in the photo.
Right. Don't be having fun in any way.
Don't have a firearm. Don't be pro Hong Kong.
Right. Very specifically.
there's very specifically. Don't mention Rightcoin if you're an investor. Thank you. Just don't mention it on TikTok.
Right. Please, for the love of God, don't mention it.
Please, actually, don't mention it to anyone. Let's just that'll be our secret.
Yeah, we'll keep that moving underground.
Yeah, Homeland Security and the NSA is going to have a fucking field day with that shit.
Yeah, 100%. We're just waiting for the knock on the door at this point.
But the good thing is, if you invest now and are ever convicted of a felony and have to do hard time, you'll be taken care of in the joint.
Right, because it's actually currency that's only tenable with Aryan supremacist prison gangs.
Correct. You look. All it's gonna take is an ass brand and a haircut, and you're in, kids. So look,
right,
$3 to get in. That's it.
Yep. There is a door charge. That's just to keep the riffraff out.
Right.
Exactly. So,
which dude? Oh my god. Okay. So do you remember a couple weeks ago when I talked to you? I think it was on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I told you I was going to go spend the day with Thundercat and the grandkids and the stepkids and all that stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So, and so then I made the comment, I was on the outs all day because I made the comment. I was like, oh yeah, it's 98 degrees outside. Let's go stand outside. And
right.
And I'm the asshole, right?
Right, exactly.
But so anyway, there's a small town near me that's actually got a really cool, like, eclectic downtown. It's one of those that you would just drive by, never pay any mind to.
Right.
And I'm not gonna name it. I don't know why, because I'm about to shit on it. But anyway,
definitely don't name it then.
But there was a really cool restaurant we had lunch at. It's called B-52s, and it's World War II naval themed. So it's got like battleships. Cool. It's got a lot of old timey shit. It was good. Food's good. Shout out to B-52s. Anyway, so we took the grandkids out to they had opened a little thing right outside their rec center called the Splash Pad, right? Which is I know a lot of small towns have them now. So it's basically kind of like a water park. There's a lot of water elements. Like there's a giant bucket in the middle that fills up, splashes the kids. There's the little water guns you can shoot each other. There's little things you can run through and get wet. It's misty. It's fun.
So it's more than just like, you'll see it like an inner city where there's just like some fountains in the ground, like, and like, the fucking rubber shit you see in the playground. So it's a little bit more than that. There's more going on to it.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit. It's nothing crazy. It's literally, I'd say probably 50 feet by 50 feet. And like I said, it's got some cool elements to it. It's interactive. Like the kids can have fun, and
how old are these kids?
Great. Under 7.
Okay. All right.
And then
Yeah,
you have you had the one like giant ginger kid that was 14 and nobody could figure out why he was there, but or why he was in the sun at all.
Right, exactly. Yeah, little layers of his skin are peeling back, even submerged in the water during this fucking time.
Right. So we got so it's not grass around it. Like there's a big probably twice the size of the splash pad. A big area with like fake turf down, and they put their picnic tables and umbrellas and all this cool stuff. It's a nice place to be.
Right.
So we find the one in the corner where there's actual tree shade adding to the umbrella because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 97 degrees.
Right.
Direct sun is not your friend. And I didn't want to be the only adult like flopping around in the splash pad. So we get this, and around the entire thing is this probably a 4 foot tall, just your standard iron fence. That's something that you would see at any pool club house or anything like that. You know what I'm talking
about. Right. Yeah, I hear you.
So it's surrounding the whole thing. So we're sitting over there. We're just chilling out, letting the kids have some fun before we go to lunch. And then this one guy that I briefly spoke to in the parking lot. I don't know if you know about small towns, but typically the people on their city council are creepy, like 60 to 70-year-old men. And
I guess I kind of know what you mean.
It's like, they were on the police force for 30 years. They got tired of beating up minorities, so now they're on the board. Like that kind of shit. Yeah, like you can see the racism in their fucking grizzled old skin.
Right.
Anyway, so this guy, like, when I got out of the car, I know smoking's not a thing and anything like that. I like to enjoy a cigarette, so I told them to go ahead. I had a cigarette, and then this guy like makes a beeline for me. I'm like, oh, here comes Pawpaw. He's gonna tell me to put the fucking cigarette out. Right. Anyway, he comes over. He's like, hey, you live around here? I was like, nope. And he's like, oh, okay. You just somebody lives around here? I was like, nope. which my stepdaughter lives like 2 blocks away, but and she's been trying to I found out later she's been trying to schmooze the council members because she's trying to, like, she's one of those that's like trying to get like a stop sign put in front of her fucking house because people drive too fast.
Gotcha.
Anyway, he was like,
one of those irresponsible citizens, those bastards.
Right. So he extended. He was like, well, I'm such and such. I'm a member of the city council, and I'm just out here, just seeing how everybody's enjoying everything. And I was like, well, I haven't gone inside yet, so I can't really tell you. And he was like, oh, that makes sense. Well, I'll catch up with you later. I was like, sounds good, bud. So then I go inside. We find our shady spot, but it's right next to the fence. So then this guy walks around like he's on the other side of the fence from us, but he comes up and he's like, oh, hey, Josh, what's up, man? I was like, hey, buddy, how are you? Lurking in the trees much?
Right. That's fucking weird.
Yeah. Lurking in the trees. And it's at this point, it's me and Thundercat and this old lady that lives with my stepdaughter. It's her husband's great aunt that's an invalid or something. But anyway, we're sitting over there. We're like, yeah, we still don't live here. So and we're like, okay, we'll play a prank on Heaven. She'll come back. She'll be back. Heaven, come over here. Anyway, he's talking and he's like, so what are you guys thinking of the park so far? We're like, well, it's water. It's cool.
It's wet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Can I have free snacks at the snack shack since I know you now?
Right.
But anyway, moving it forward, he's like, so you guys didn't have to pay anything to get in, right? We're like, no. He's like, yeah, well, today's the first day of that. I was like, oh, cool. How much was it before? And he's like, $1. I was like, oh, well, God. I was like, we really dodged the goddamn bullet. Thank God we didn't come yesterday.
It's the first day that we're not charging $1 for you to stand.
Right, it's $1. And then he's like, well, I'm actually a fan of charging because it keeps out the, And I was like, what? I literally usually I'll just shut up because this isn't my show. Like literally, she lives in that neighborhood. I'm not trying to fuck anything up.
Right.
But I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, no, I don't. That's why I'm asking you. And I said, what does a dollar prevent? I literally said that. And he was like, well,
what does a dollar prevent? That's a great question.
He's like, I forget what his name was, but like I said his
Kevin.
name, and I said, Kevin, what does a dollar prevent? And he said, it's like I smacked him in the face with a 50-pound salmon. Like he was like,
I can't get over that. I'm sorry.
He's like, but the look, like he literally like stepped back, like I hit him with something, and he was like, "You dare speak to fucking town council royalty like this?" And but then he was like, well, you know, the dollar is the difference between the nice people you see here and the not so nice people. And I was like, and then the whole time I'm getting kicked under the table, and like Thundercat's like, don't.
Yeah, she's literally like lighting a fucking fire under your ass.
She's like, don't. She is like, I'm gonna fucking smother you in your sleep tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, don't fucking do it.
She's like jabbing you like this.
She saw the look in my eye, like when the shark tastes blood, here we fucking go. And I'm like, and I was like, no, I want you to actually explain to me the type of people you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Who was that dollar keeping out, and why aren't they here now that you're not charging? Is the word not out?
Yeah, somehow the town of 1,000 people just didn't become a tourist destination overnight with the free 50-foot by 50-foot water experience.
Right. Like, I farted by the snack shack earlier, and half the town already knows about it. Who doesn't know that they're not charging today? Like, literally, I could yell loudly right now, and 30% of your population would know what's going on.
Right, exactly.
And anyway, his was now, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know it, or I probably would. But he said, well, I don't like to say riffraff, but let's just say when we first opened that there were people that don't really look like us. I was like, all right. So we're still ambiguous. It's like we're still ambiguous here. I know what you're trying to get at. You're trying to feel me out. Like if I'm really trading in Litecoin here.
Right, like, exactly. If you've actually spent time with the same Aryan prison gang he did. I totally get, obviously, like this guy's a fucking douchebag.
He's like, wait, you don't have one of them Native Americans in your line, do you, boy? But anyway, that was pretty much the end of it because Thundercat shut it down. She was like, hey, we're just trying to have a nice day here, and my husband's not playing along, so it was nice meeting you. Excuse me. It was nice meeting you, Kevin, but we'll talk to you later. And he almost got the hint, and then he was like, oh, no, I like talking to Josh. I love talking to citizens that may end up living here. And I just said, I will never live here. Ever.
He actually said that? And then you were just like, I'm not moving to your dumbass little racist corner of North Carolina.
Yeah, because, I mean, I left out a part of a conversation, but you witnessed briefly when you were here when we went out for breakfast, hungover as shit. But, like, all these little towns, if you're from Gastonia and you tell people you're from Gastonia or that you live in Gaston County, it's like, it doesn't go over well. Like all these tiny little towns are judgmental, and they're like, "Oh, you from the big city? All right, y'all don't know nothing out. Y'all don't know nothing out there. Y'all ain't never even seen a goddamn 4-wheeler." Like, all right, like Gastonia is, the largest, one of the largest townships in North Carolina as far as land mass goes. Trust me, we got country. We got all that shit. It's just we got all them fancy learning joints. We got 2 new high schools. I heard they turned the Winn-Dixie into one of them goddamn government schools. Like,
as opposed to the non-government schools they were sending their children to.
Right.
With all the money.
Anyway, he's it's always the same reception that you witnessed, in Stanley, where I was like, no, I'm from Gastonia. He's like, oh, all right. Okay, I got you now. Like, okay, all right, yeah.
That's fucking it was wild, though.
Yeah, it was the same back and forth, and it was one of those extremely weird things that you see in a TV show, and it's like people like this don't exist. And then like they chase me down in a fucking
Except that they
splash
do.
pad. And I'm like, why? After our first interaction and after our brief interaction at the beginning of this conversation, why continue? Where are you going? It's the same argument I have with like the fucking evangelical Baptist. Like, no, I believe in Jesus. I don't think he's who you think he is. Like, you don't want to talk to me about it. I promise.
Right.
Like,
and I don't get like it's crazy too, especially in 2023, especially in North Carolina, which is a very, very like politically mixed state. It's a very, very purple state overall.
Well, it is, but you have to understand where you are.
And right? No, I get that. I totally get. Like they're out in the middle. Okay, like they're in Appalachia. Like I get it.
But they're not though. Like this isn't that far away from where I live now, and Dallas is a very neutral town. Like Dallas, they don't lean one way or the other.
Right.
We support local.
Well, there's
businesses.
a Papa's and beer there, so
well,
they're not running people out of town with the $1 charge at the water park.
Look, in one parking lot, you can go to Papa's and beer. Right. You can go to fucking Ace Hardware. Mm-hmm. You can go to fucking the liquor store, CVS. There's a vape shop. Like, come on, man. That's Dallas.
Exactly.
Guns and ammo in the back. But no, just to give you an idea, because this place, it's like 35 minutes away. But you go up 321, which is the main highway by here.
Right.
And instead of telling us to Google Map it, she should have just told us to get off 321 at the Bars and Stars. Because the exit you get off has like a 50-foot Confederate flag.
I think I remember you telling me about that too.
Yeah, and I was like, all right.
There's a big one over there.
Well, we know the rules now, don't we?
Right, exactly.
Like that says a lot about the area you're entering if they'll allow shit like that.
That's it's also I mean it's pretty fucking wild that I mean this guy's a city council member, but he's also just going around to these random people. You also like you definitely don't have a thick accent. Like we might
I do not.
Yeah, I don't even know if you have a slight accent. Like it's kind of hard to tell because we both grew up here. But like even still, like you're not walking around like, well, you know what, Kevin? I totally agree. I think we should keep those people out of the water park too. I'm really glad you're not charging $1 anymore now. Like you're just walking around with your average accent. You appear to be in your late 20s, early 30s. Like this guy's just rolling some non-existent dice that you're just gonna be like, you know what? Right. I came off the interstate and I saw those stars and bars and I knew I was at home. Like what the fuck?
In the land of cotton.
Right, exactly.
Hey, let's whistle Dixie together. You know it. I know you know it.
Right, exactly. Monica will pull out the banjo, and we'll just start having a neat slapping time.
So, look, I've been around for long enough, and I've been around this area for long enough that I'm not stupid. I know people like that exist, and but at the same time,
they exist everywhere.
I just don't. But I don't understand like why I'm getting kicked under the table. Like, look, if you were there, you would enjoy me fucking chirping this guy.
If I was there, I would have stood up next to him at the train link fence and been like, "Oh yeah, those kind of people. Yeah. Wait, so what kind of people are you talking about?" Like I would have been right there with you, egging this motherfucker on. But like, I'm gonna see how many times I can get you to say the N-word in public,
right,
before the conversation's over.
And the whole thing is though, and it's so I'm equating this exactly to a evangelical stretch where knocking door to door from the Baptists and Presbyterians and all this shit. Look, it's a numbers game. Like some people are going to entertain you, and some people are going to slam the door in your face. But some people are me, and some people are going to fucking throw the line out, and then I'm just going to reel you in, and I'm going to reel you in. And I'm going to have sore shins from getting kicked by my fucking wife under the table. But I'm going to reel you in, and I'm going to keep going. But it's like a telemarketer mentality. It should be. It's like, well, I lost this one. Chalk it up. Let's call another number. Because whatever he was selling, I wasn't buying. And I thought I was making it evident. But I guess being contrarian to a 68-year-old man isn't. They don't pick up on that.
No, I clearly not. I mean, it's... and that's the other thing. I know you don't either. And just to paint the picture, Josh isn't out there like fucking with Mormons that come to his door and playing them along for 2 hours straight. I maybe there was a Josh in the past that did that, but you don't do that shit anymore. You're just kind of like, have a nice day. Go along.
Yeah. No, thank you.
For the record.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not a troll, and I don't live my life like that. But at the same time, when there's certain things just irk me, and like that was one of them. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's
no, 100%.
really it's whichever way the wind blows. But when the wind blows up them goddamn cargo shorts the right way, buddy, look out, because I just there's certain things I don't like, and I mean the first mistake is I don't like having random conversations with elderly men
Right.
in the public. That's
100%.
just
Yeah. There's very few people on this earth that do, and they're probably other elderly men.
right.
You know?
And then when you try and steer the unwanted conversation into a potentially racist scenario, then
Right.
it,
With
it's
random
it's got
people. And he automatically knows, oh, you're not from here and you already said you don't have family here. So like what the fuck?
right.
Why is that a trigger in his mind to go, let me just start talking about racist shit with this guy? Like that makes
Right.
zero fucking sense.
You have no idea who I am. You don't even know the dynamic. I
Right.
haven't introduced her as my wife. I haven't introduced anyone as anything.
Right.
You don't.
Exactly.
For all you know, my black girlfriend's sitting in the car on a phone call, and like you have no
Exactly.
idea who the fuck I am.
Right. Exactly.
So like I don't know. I guess tip of the cap to the balls on this fucking fella, but you know, I don't think I don't think that's the right strategy for a city councilman to take. So
You fucking think
I
so?
will be going on Thursday and speaking my mind.
Is there an open house?
Oh God, no!
You
Look,
should show up to the open house.
like, hey Kevin, remember me?
Be like, I was approached by a member of this council, and we were having a conversation that I didn't get to finish, and I would very
Right.
much like for the city council to explain to me.
Right.
You should
So who
totally
are the-
fucking go
Listen,
and do that.
listen, Kevin. Who are the people the dollar's keeping out?
Right, exactly. I think you should go. I think you should go to the next council meeting they have, and just start asking questions. Just for
Oh,
fucking
man.
content. Well, I guess if
don't know.
your family didn't live there, then maybe you should antagonize them. But
Well, and for the safety of my family, I'm not going to do it because, and look, and this is a shot in the dark, but at the same time, the area is well known as
Right.
a biker refuge, and a lot of these. And look, this isn't the Sons of Anarchy or the '70s in California, but at the same
Right.
time, there are very
Hell's
real
Kitchen.
biker organizations that some of them and some of the higher up ones actually have contacts and family in local government. So
Right.
and the one in that area that you look out for is the Southern Gentleman, and they have normal day jobs. They're normal guys. They take their kids to the splash pad and talk about racist things.
So they
And,
make sure they don't anymore now that the dollar's gone. Now that dollar surcharge is off the table, they got to find a different water park. to
Right,
hang
but
out
no,
in.
these it's like the Southern Gentleman is actually it's a true 1% bike club. Like they actually they do bad stuff.
Gotcha.
So I would rather not go down that road.
Right. Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
because in areas like that where you're allowed to just go up to random people and talk about racist things, if I show up as the only one going against that, I might not make it out of town.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So maybe I'll Skype in.
There you go. Yeah, if you can Skype, we'll get a VPN, Skype in from some some random IP address in like Norway or something.
And no, you can be with me. You can be my attorney.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, I'm down too. And we'll use voice changing tech. So it doesn't even have to
and
be
we'll
dramatic.
it'll just be like dark silhouettes.
Exactly. Or I'll tell you, or you know what we could do, which would be even funnier, is just drape sheets over us and cut out little eye sockets.
Yes. Yes. And then I'll burn a lowercase t behind me for time to leave.
Right, exactly. Be like, we'll just
show that.
Be like, we're just dressing, how we felt like the council might want us to dress most appropriately.
When in Rome.
Right, exactly. I'm actually I would be so fucking down for that, dude. To just find out like these little racist areas and just fuck with them like that. We could fucking stream it on Twitch.
There's a pocket, man. There's a pocket, and it's like northwest of here for about 100 miles, and it's pretty rough, man. Like
Yeah. I
It's
believe it.
it's those little towns where you grow up there, you stay there,
Right.
and you think how you think, and we're Americans, we're dug in. Ain't
Right.
nothing gonna change my mind.
Right.
Fuck
Exactly.
Obama, Trump forever.
Right. Yeah, and there's a I mean I don't know if you've ever gone up 16 to Atlanta. I don't know if you've ever how many times you've driven that route, but there's a huge at some point, I don't know if and in fact, I don't know if it went away and came back at some point. There is a big Confederate flag, and then there's also a big sign, like a massive fucking sign that's on somebody's like literally their cotton farm, like right next to the highway. And it literally it's got stars and bars on there, and it says something like "Join the militia now" or something like, and it's got like a link to a website, like a
Right.
local militia. So it's all over the place, in the South especially. But I mean, it's all over the fucking country. People don't talk about it.
Well, it
There's always
is, and
random pockets like that.
look, one thing, hanging out with certain people growing up, I learned something that if you're looking to put together a militia, don't call it a militia, because the
Yeah,
fastest
no
way
shit.
to get on an FBI short list and an ATF short list is creating a militia.
Yeah, no
Because
fucking
even
shit.
though it's in the fucking Constitution and the Bill of Rights, um, they ain't playing that shit.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
mean,
and that's
look at the guys who got taken down for supposedly they were going to go arrest was the governor of Michigan or Wisconsin. And I don't want to get into
it
it or
was
anything.
Wisconsin, and that was
Right.
crazy. They took over the governor's mansion.
Right. And but or yeah, but was it them? Yeah, but the whole thing, basically that entire plot, it came out later, which is just completely fucking crazy. Was basically planned, prepped and instigated by FBI sleepers in the fucking militia. Like it
Yes.
wasn't even like
Yes.
basically it came down to the point where there was just like one guy who didn't know that the whole thing was a
Like,
setup.
look, if they show up to militia practice and you've never seen Kevin or heard from Kevin, nobody can vouch for Kevin.
Right.
Just kill Kevin and bury him in the fucking field. Because
Or maybe or just don't form a racist militia in the first place. And
right.
it won't be a problem.
Right. Well, I mean, but the big thing with that is, and honestly, I don't have a problem with that, because like a true militia. Now, if you're open and honest about it and you drill regularly,
Mhm.
you're going to be attached to local authorities. So you will
Right.
do tandem training with the police. You will do
Mhm.
tandem training with National Guard. That all of these services are set up to welcome things like that in. The
Right.
problem is nobody these goddamn dumb rednecks don't understand that. Nobody ever told them
Right.
that. So they're just like, "Hey man, my buddy's grandpa's got 50 acres. We can go shoot shit on. Y'all want to make a militia?"
Well,
Yeah, no, I hate those. I hate those people too. Hey, do you like camo and the bars and stars? Let's fucking do it, baby. You can be
at that
captain.
point, just start a gun club. Like, what the fuck is the point of starting a militia? Like the whole,
Right,
like the
but
entire point of a militia, and let's just exclude disaster relief, because there's all these kind of charities nowadays. Like, because I think you can make an argument where it's like we're gonna form a local community in a militia, and we're technically here for national defense, which everybody knows America's never gonna get invaded by anybody. But
that's a bad day for the invader.
exactly. So we know that's never going to happen. But you can make an argument, maybe like, because like the National Guard, yeah, they're technically like the national militia kind of, but like 90% of their jobs is just like disaster relief, like for active missions, and
Right.
here and around the world. So like you can make an argument for that if you really want to do with the whole militia thing, but otherwise, like there's like that's 99% of the time, that's not the point of you. Like, that's not the actual goal of you forming the militia. It's something else
Right.
entirely.
And if your number one goal of starting a militia is to overthrow the government, stop.
It's
Um,
just not going to happen. Sorry.
but now here's the thing though. So, and I just mentioned a big gang, like a biker gang or whatever, a club, whatever they call themselves. But look, you
Right.
have like large groups like the one that Mater rides with, where they're
Right.
not true one percenters. Some of them step out of line sometimes, but
Sure.
you have a loose affiliation of hundreds of people. But when
Right.
people need help, they help. But
Mhm.
also, if you fuck with them or if you do something in their area that they think's wrong, they'll let you know they think it's wrong.
Right.
And that arguably is a militia.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, definitely. I definitely could agree with that. It's more of like Yeah, I don't. There's really no other word for it, to be honest. It pretty
But
much is
yeah,
militia.
even if you so like what happened in Wisconsin. Now, if you had somebody with an IQ over 90, like within your ranks, you could
That's a
have done that
stretch.
legally. That's a stretch, I know, but
Yeah.
like that's like they because nobody with an IQ over 90 would ever join the ranks of
Exactly.
people like that. But
Exactly.
if they did, you could do that legally. Like you fight it at the local level, you take
Right.
it to the state level, you say this shit's fucked up, you
Yeah.
appeal nationally, and when it doesn't matter really if you don't get what you want nationally, then you say, okay, well, there are certain legal steps we can take before we take over the governor's mansion. And if we
You
are
don't say.
like if step 3 on the docket is raiding the governor's mansion,
Right.
don't do it. But
Right.
like you could take the steps, and then if they harass you in the point, you can legally retaliate and defend yourself.
Right.
And if like there are certain things that if you like I said, if you have anybody with reasonable intelligence, that maybe you just say, hey, you're not that good with a gun, why don't you just advise? Like you can be you can
Right.
be our intelligence department. If anybody's advising these people, they could have gone about it and probably gotten 40% of what they wanted to change.
Right. Or you know what
And-
else they could have done? They're a small group. They got some funding behind them. Why didn't one of them run for office? Why didn't they find another candidate to support for local office where they wanted to get the change done? Like this, I feel like especially, and we got to get off this topic because I'm going to get political real quickly, but especially
We've
in this
already
country-
gone there.
I know.
We've already gone there.
But like people are just so quick these days to just go straight to the protest, straight to violence, straight to something. It's like we have so many things built into the system to actually create change, especially at a local level. Like any kind of
the local. That's the one. Like nobody votes locally.
Exactly. Nobody. Does that. Nobody's voting for that city councilman except for his 12 racist family members. So.
Right, and then the 1,000 dead people they just create fake ballots for. Like I've seen or black sheep. Don't worry. But at the same time, look, the thing about change is it has to be the minority, and most of these are small pockets of people that don't represent the majority of like what they want to see.
Yeah.
So
not even close.
And not correct, not even close. So their only option is violence and going down in a hail of glory is what they think. And then realistically, they just end up on federal charges in a fuck me in the ass prison for 30 years.
Right. Well, and there's something to be said about that because yes, like our republic is set up to protect minorities, but it's set up to protect very specific minorities and not minorities that are trying to infringe on the rights of other people.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And well, like I said, we go back to the IQ of over 90 thing.
Right. And that's part of the problem here for sure.
And then if y'all just, and another big thing is I think the biggest thing is, look, every once in a while, separate yourself from what you know. Get away from the fucking people that keep repeating themselves and keep standing on the same laurels. Get away from them. Maybe have a conversation with somebody else, and without talking through the conversation, listen to what they had to say.
Yeah, that's gonna be real tough. I mean, again, that goes back to IQ of above 90.
But no, once again, I'm American. I'm dug in.
Right.
I'm not changing anything. We're just gonna have to figure out a way around it.
And on that
anyway, let's get off this topic. 'Cause we're gonna,
I know we could have a whole 13 podcasts.
You're gonna miss the rehearsal.
Well, you know, we've been pretty productive so far. We've actually informed the audience how to start a militia, which is how we want to. I mean, that's really the whole message of our podcast.
Shh, it's not time yet.
Yeah, the page. What was that? You know, the Trevor Moore guy. He had a joke running where it was like there was one of his things where he cuts away from commercial and he's like, and we meet every morning in the basement of the Adam's pub. 6 separate Tyrannus is our code word or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
Right.
So anyway,
listen, we'll let you guys know when it's time, but as for now, there is no militia.
And you know what? And we'll meet at Mater's Ranch. That'll
Rule number
be the point.
First of all, don't put that out there. There is no Mater's Ranch.
Rule number one about Mater's Ranch.
Rule number one of the militia: you don't talk about the militia. Rule number 2: you don't talk about Mater's Ranch.
Right, exactly.
There is no Mater's Ranch.
So I want to go to my favorite story today. Fuckity fuck. Okay, it's fine. I want to go to my favorite story today.
Is it political or about
No.
like insurgents or overthrowing
I mean, I
government?
guess it's slightly political because, and we'll get into why. It's not really political. No, it's crime and punishment. You know, I've also I thought of a new
So yes.
sounder. I thought of a new sounder for when we do these crime stories. It'll just be kind of like
Is it Team America? America, fuck yeah!
That would be great. No, well, I was thinking we could do that, and I was also thinking like a little bit of like surfer music, and then it would be like crime wave or whatever. I think that's kind of cute. That's my vote. So anyway,
Let's do the story.
so let's do the story.
So lick my butt and suck on my balls.
A woman fired from a job at Lowe's.
Round 2, by the way. Cheers, everybody.
Oh yeah, there you go. So there's a woman in Lowe's in Savannah, and I think it's actually technically Rincon, which is like a smaller town outside of Savannah.
I was about to say, was it the Lowe's like near my house on Victory?
I don't think no. I think it was outside of Savannah if I remember correctly. So, but there are 3 people that go in there. They just start loading up a fucking shopping cart with stuff to steal and walk out, and then she confronts them on the way out, and it's like, hey, like, don't fucking do that. Don't be shoplifting. And they were just like, nah, fuck that. We're gonna do whatever we want. And then they gave her a good old sock in the face to prevent her from preventing them from doing their bullshit. And then she got fired because she tried to get in the way of these guys, which is just fucking crazy. So there's a couple of things to unpack here. And I will, before we even get into that, I will say there's a follow-up story from a day later. And yes, there is a heat advisory because it's fucking hot as hell.
Wait, are those the guys that the dollar would prevent from going to the splash pad?
I don't. Well, if there sounds like they're being pretty entrepreneurial and grabbing some stuff out of the store to resell. So I think they'd probably have $1 for the splash pad. To be honest with you.
Okay.
So
but just business hasn't picked up at the splash pad yet.
It just hasn't. The word just hasn't gotten out yet. but so she was rehired a day later. Once upper management became aware of it. So
right,
which is good. So ultimately, like the Lowe's Corporation is not the. At first, I was like, "Fucking Lowe's doing this bullshit." I was like, "Come on, man!" But ultimately, you know, they did the right thing, and they're like, "Okay, that was the local people overreacted. You're definitely not fired. Like that's bullshit." Got that.
Right. So now I've actually been a part of that corporation before. I actually worked for Lowe's.
Oh, I did not know.
I did. I think I was like 19.
Wow.
And I worked for Lowe's briefly. I was a nighttime stalker, but I've worked for a lot of big corporations. And part of their training, I know most people don't pay attention to the training or any of the videos they watch or safety or anything like that. But I would say the vast majority, if not all, of the big corporations I've worked for, in the like opening day packet, when they make you watch videos,
right.
Literally they say, in the instance of a robbery or violence, don't be a hero.
Right.
Be safe. Extract yourself and anyone that may be harmed without harming yourself.
Right.
Literally, be a fish. Flop the other way. Don't do anything. You know. And me, the fucking the Jean-Claude Van Damme and me is like, oh fuck no, it ends today.
You're like, I'm Inspector Javert and it's Les Miserables, bitch, and these people are going down.
Which I don't know if you know, but I've been at gunpoint more than once.
I think you told me at least about one of those times, yeah. But I mean, to the point. Sorry, go.
But
go
at the same time, if that, because I wasn't dumb enough to file a fucking report, because in their eyes I would be endangering other people. It's like, it's stirring shit up and being a problem when they say,
right,
you know, like if I were to just say yes sir, no sir, please don't hit me again, you know, if I were to go that route, then everything's fine. But the problem therein lies that I do have my own personal rights that actually supersede the need of the company.
Right.
So
100%.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to protect myself, and if my life is being threatened and I feel my life is being threatened, I do have rights to actually protect my life.
Right.
So, and I was told a long time ago by my dad, and it stuck with me my entire, and it hasn't failed me yet. Look, if they're gonna shoot you, they're gonna shoot you. If they came in to shoot you, then there's nothing you can do to stop them from shooting you. But if they're not gonna shoot you, then beat the fuck out of them,
Right.
because that's not a scare tactic. Like
Right.
pointing a loaded weapon at someone and threatening to kill them, that's not a scare tactic. That's threatening your life. So when they do that, basically you're already dead. So basically, like my whole stance has been, I mean, I don't know, I got this weird thing. I think we've talked about it before. Like fight or flight, I always choose fight. And I think something's wrong with my head because in that I don't give a fuck. I'll end up on one of our videos. But
Right.
like if it's the right scenario and I'm in the right or I believe I'm in the right, I'm not gonna back down to you and you're not gonna scare me. And once we cross that threshold, that thin, barely visible line in the sand
Right.
where I feel like the only escape would be sprinting in another direction and leaving whoever else behind or taking action, I'm gonna take action every
Yeah.
fucking time.
Yeah.
And
That's yeah, and I get it, and it doesn't necessarily come out of a combative worldview, just more out of
no,
like
no, 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 no.
yeah. Even though you
Because
definitely have
you know
one.
me, man. No, you know me, man. Like, dude, you've been around me for a long time, and you know, like, my go-to is not like, hey, I'm gonna be like a walking puka shell necklace. I'm gonna walk in and just threaten the nearest person in the
Right.
location I'm in. Like, it's my outlook. Like, I think I'm a peaceful person. I think I'm easy to get along with.
Yeah. What's the it's kind of the opposite of the bad guy in Back to the Future too, where he's like
Biff.
they just yeah. Well, is it Biff? It's because who's the old what's the other guy's name again? Because I know it's Biff because that's his like grandson or something. At
Yeah.
that point in the story, but yeah, it's just the stupid the hoverboard game that goes around. Every time they see somebody, it's like a comical reaction. Where they're just
Right,
like,
right.
"Oh,
And
fuck you,
look,
you're in my way."
and look, I'm not gonna lie. When I was young, like high school, shortly thereafter, like I mean, I was aggressive, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
was never, like an '80s or '90s TV show villain where I just go around like, "Ha ha! Let's see if you can fit in this locker." Ha ha!
Right.
Like,
You would just chase men on bicycles into gas stations. Different the different mindset.
right? No, I would bully 40-year-old doctors on bicycles. Um,
That's just community service. Is really what that is.
Listen, he was being an asshole. Okay,
He was being
like,
Your Honor, he was being a towel. I didn't have a choice.
right. This guy was being a Lance Armstrong towel.
A live strong
And
towel, if you will.
I didn't know what else to do. He was doing dangerous things, and he was trying to show us children to do dangerous things. And I just couldn't support it.
Right. Exactly. You see, Your Honor, I was protecting my innocence. And my friends.
Well, I mean, look. For instance, I got in this big fight. I think I was a sophomore or a junior in high school, and it was this big fight. Like, I mean, big. Like, this is when cell phones were just out, so they're shitty videos, but there were like
Right.
19 videos of this fight. Like, this and look, I'm not fucking I'm not the boys. I'm not Butcher from the Boys. I'm not Robin Hood. Like, I'm not here to protect anybody, but I'm loyal to my friends. And I always had a very diverse group of friends. So,
Right.
I was a wrestler. I had my wrestler friends. I was a
them
runner.
Some of them may not be able to go to the splash pad.
Some of them are not welcome at the splash pad. They charge them $5.
Oh shit.
But I had a diverse group of friends. I had I had a lot of activities going on. I had church friends. I had after school club friends, and dividing the time, there just wasn't enough fucking Josh to go around. But when it came out,
Common problem.
yeah, common problem. Not anymore, but at the time, I was in pretty high demand.
Mhm.
But I don't know how
Naturally.
your high school did lunches, but our lunches, we had like 4 different lunches, and like, so at the start of every semester,
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on what your third period was, that dictated when you went to lunch.
Right. Yeah.
And
Lunch period.
so so you didn't get to like not all your friends were going to be in the same lunch.
Right.
So I I created this table on the mid tier. We had 3 tiers. We had like a glamorous high school, but we had 3 tiers in the cafeteria. We were in the middle tier, big table that held 10. So first day, I was not against mixing friend groups. I was like, you, not you, you, not you. You can bring a +1 because I like you. You, and then we got to leave a floating table or a floating a floating. What are those the little circles you sit on?
Oh yeah, they're connected, like somehow connected to the fucking foldable tables.
Yeah.
Like you gotta reserve a guest spot, if you will.
Yeah, so there was always just a guest circle. So if you had a good time with somebody, you had to run it by the board. There was board of trustees, the 3 of us.
Right.
Anyway, so anyway, all that shit settles in the first week, and everybody pretty much figures out for the next 14 weeks where they're going to be eating lunch and who will.
Right. Exactly.
So anyway, I had a couple wrestling buddies, had my best friend there, had a couple of my church buddies there. It was a really mixed group. And behind us was the soccer table. And it was just like all the fucking JV soccer guys were at one table. And which I'm a wrestler, they're like 4 rungs below me. I don't give a fuck. But they were also rich kids. It was, it was that kind of high school where a lot of kids came from money.
Right.
And this guy, I'm not gonna dox him. We'll call him Kevin. he was a freshman and he was like 6'3". He was the goalie. Like he was gonna go varsity the next year. He's a big guy.
Right.
And he just wouldn't stop fucking with this one kid at my table. And the kid at my table, sweetheart, never hurt anybody. He was a church buddy. Like there was no reason. But the balls on this kid fucking hung to his knees. Like, you know who I am. You know who Shane fucking Crenshaw is. And you know who my fucking best friend is. Like, the balls on this kid.
Right.
And he used to come over like that. This is back when American Eagle was big. And like they would wear 2 polos and pop both collars, like different color polos and pop both collars and shit. So then it just kept
2000s.
going. Oh, the early 2000s.
What a great time to be alive. Yeah.
My Chemical Romance. So anyway, he was harassing this kid, and I told him, knock it off. Don't make the 3 of us kick all of your asses right now. And
right.
It kept escalating to the point to where he came over, and it was literally out of an 80s movie. Like, this is the only thing in high school that actually related to shit that I've seen in a movie.
He comes over K-12 race afterwards.
Yeah, no, they're doing downhill skiing.
Right.
No. No, he comes over and he said, "Let me help you out with that, buddy," because he was wearing a collared shirt, and he pops his collar for him, and then he messes his hair up, which I can deal with. That's fine. That's razzing, whatever. I'm not stepping in at that point. Like I'm
Right.
not fucking, I'm not on that level. But because he's not my best friend and he's 3 seats down, at some point you got to stand up for yourself, right?
Right.
But
yeah, I hear you.
But he does this shit, and then the guy hands him an orange juice bottle from behind him, and he pours it all over him.
Oh,
I was like, all right, show's over. Show's over.
You're like, you outside, bitch, let's go.
No, because I was smarter than that. I only got suspended 1 time in high school, and
Nice.
that was for fighting my best friend in chemistry class. But
Does that even really count, to be honest?
I beat the fuck out of that kid. But so yes, it counts.
All right, sorry for another time.
Anyway, so no, I get up and I was like, that's fucking it. And then Shane Crenshaw runs around the table. I was like, not here, not now. Like literally, I was like, don't fucking do it. I was like, we will fucking smoke this pipe, but we're not doing it right now. And he's like, oh, were you scared? You little wrestling F words I can't say. You little wrestling F words, you scared? And I was like, oh, buddy, like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Like
he was literally
darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Right.
And then I was like, all right, we had this place that it was a developing neighborhood, and they had already built all the roads. They hadn't built any houses,
Right.
but all the roads and cul-de-sacs and everything. And there was like this cul-de-sac way out of the way with woods around it, where we used to go drink and fuck and do whatever we wanted to do because nobody was ever out there after like 5 p.m.
It was boys only.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, we would fuck each other, and we went straight Spartan style.
Right.
Um,
you really learn to appreciate your brothers more after that.
you do, and you look out for them after that. It creates a bond. But
Yep.
no,
a bond that
there's
only
just
a butthole can bring two men together with.
yeah, buttholes, mouths,
There you go.
hands. Anyway, so I said, look, we're fucking. We're going there. We're gonna do it on Thursday. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing out of your mouth until then, or we'll move up the date. You can bring whoever you want. I'll bring whoever I want. It's me and you, one on one, and I'm gonna beat the lips off that face. And so anyway, everything goes fine. They the teachers get word of it, so they actually they didn't tell us because I think we were sophomores at that time, but they were mostly all freshmen. They actually made them eat in the courtyard with the seniors so that we wouldn't get into it. And like they didn't know about the prearranged fight.
Right.
They just knew that like
they weren't promoting it yet. The posters weren't on the wall yet for Langford.
Yeah, the tickets weren't on sale yet. No. But they didn't know about that. They just knew that there was a possible scuffle between, like, they didn't want 20 fucking guys fighting in the cafeteria.
Because at that point, they might not even be able to break it up.
It would have been tough. Like, we would have been able to do what we wanted to do. But,
oh, yes.
Anyway, so the day comes. It was actually the day I got my license. That's how I remember it was my sophomore year. So I go pick up my posse. Shane Crenshaw and my best friend are already headed down there. This is after school. We set it up for 4:30. So I get a call. I'm halfway there from the DMV. I get a call, and they said, "We got to go. Cops are on the way." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" They're like, "Dude, there's like 300 people out here." I was like, "Oh shit, it's a prize fight! It's a prize fight!"
So somebody did promote it just on the DL.
Dude, it was kind of a big deal because, like I said, like I knew a lot of people. Everybody, like, well, not everybody, but like 5 or 6 guys at my table knew a lot of other people.
Right.
And then all the little rich kids thought that this kid was going to beat me up, so it was going to be a real big deal for them. Like their champion takes out the wrestling champion, and
okay,
like yeah. It was gonna right. The soccer goalie beats the shit out of a wrestling captain.
Right. Yeah,
said no one ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck. Like, and the fact that they even thought, the fact that the kid showed up shows he's got fucking balls. But he so we changed venues. There was a place in Belmont, which is the next town over. It was friendly for me, so like I knew a lot of people in the neighborhood. So we went out. There was like a big like open field in the back. Gotcha. So dude, I pull up and I feel like literally I'm pulling up to like a fucking street rally. Like there are fucking cars along the road the entire way.
There's like women with like halter tops and they're twirling handkerchiefs.
Yeah, Paul Walker was there.
Yeah, you're like, wait, am I about to drag race or are we about to fight?
Yeah, Paul Walker was there. Like, this is like, it was crazy. Vin Diesel.
Something about family, and there's a bunch of Coronas for some reason.
Yeah, and I remember I had I had 5 people in the car, including me, and they were like, "Dude, what the fuck is this?" And I was like, "I thought they were kidding." Like there were hundreds of people there, and
that's awesome.
I was like, what are we gonna do here? And then my buddy Shane calls, and Shane was like, "Dude, I got it taken care of." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Dude, these guys were gonna jump you as soon as you got out of the car." He's like, "But me, Kevin, he's like, we're standing right behind them. We already let them know if they even take a step forward, we're cleaning house. Everybody goes down." I was like, and literally it was like the top 6 on the wrestling team were fucking my crowd control. And I was like, all right, well, I feel better now. They were like, yeah, no, they had like a baseball bat and a pipe and all this shit. I was like, what is this, the Warriors? Like, I said,
what the fuck, dude?
I was like, dude, I can't make this shit. I was like, dude, I looked at the guys in the car. I was like, all right, what do we do here? And they're like, I guess you got to fight the guy. And I was like, well, I want to fight the guy. I just don't want like 100 people to converge on the fight.
Right, exactly.
And
it's not a mob fight.
The guys are like, dude, we got your back. Those guys got your back. We'll be fine. I was like, you know what? Strangely, I believe that. So,
for some reason, this feels right now.
Dude, this is, I swear to God, man, like literally the only thing that happened to me in high school that was like a movie. Like I walk up, this guy's in the middle of the street. He's not even in the field. He's in the middle of the street. He's wearing a pair of gym shorts with his shirt off and everything, just fucking yelling and screaming and doing all this shit. And I was like, all right. So I was driving my mom's Honda Accord, white Honda Accord 92. And I just parked in the middle of the street.
Your ass.
Yeah. He would have. It was a V6 though.
He would have hit the nitrous button and he just would have. It would have been gone.
Way too early without shifting. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. However that works. But so anyway, we all get out. Like we get it literally like a movie. Like 5 guys get out of it. Like we're parked in the middle of the road. I against my better judgment, I just threw my fight off and I was like, "You fucking ready?" And he smiled at me and I was like, "Oh, buddy." And then, like I said, he was 6'3". He's a big kid,
right?
And I go in. I'm not great at boxing, and I go in and I kind of head feint a couple times. And this kid clocks the fuck out of me, like just a giant wide fucking swing coming in. He got me, and it rocked me a little bit, but like my wrestling instincts kicked in and I was like, look at those long legs.
Yeah, exactly.
And I grabbed him and I did the double leg and flipped him backwards. Yeah. And then he had like a poofy, curly fro kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I just grabbed a handful of that and set him back and just fucking fed him like 10 shots. And then I worked on to him. And I got him into the crucifix, which is, knees on elbows. He's like this and like full mount crucifix. And I'm on top. I let his hair go. And his girlfriend is screaming at the top of her lungs, like, beat the fuck out of him, Kevin. Beat the fuck. And I said, oh, you want one? Pop. And then I hit him again. And then she said something else. Said, say something else. Pop.
Oh, my God.
And then she's like, get up, Kevin. Pow! Like every time she said something, I was like, say something else. Pow!
Oh my God.
And then so I focused on him for a minute and he was all fucked up, man. I broke his nose, I broke his jaw, like his eye was this fucking big. Like I fucked him up. But then I said, have you had enough? Bah! And he was like, yes. I said, say please, sir, get off me. Bah! And then he said it. I said, say I'm a fucking bitch. Bah! And then anyway, so I let him up after I probably fed him a good 20 to the face. Right. And he gets up and this kid's done. Like he wants nothing to do with anything. And she's like, what are you doing? Go kick his ass. And I kicked him in the ass, literally, like a front kick in the ass. And I was like, you want more? You want more? And she's like, I'll never be with a pussy and all this shit. And I was like, you want more? And he's literally crying at this point. He's like, no, please. No, please. I was like, get the fuck out of here. And there were videos of that. I received in-school suspension for that for 10 days. And
damn.
My dad was not happy about that because he didn't understand why I would be punished at school because it didn't happen at school.
Right. Yeah, no shit.
And then they said...
I don't know how they do that, honestly. Like, I don't really like know how shit like that happens because what if there's just a video of you like what if it's not even between students at your school? Like, what if you just somehow you get in a fight at like a baseball game or something? Like, what the school's just gonna punish you? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how the fuck they have the authority to do that.
Well, so basically what they said is, so a buddy of mine that was at the fight. Yeah, buddy of mine that was at the fight. He had a video on his phone, and he showed his brother. And his mom actually worked in the control room at the school. And his brother showed his mom the video. And
great.
So that's how I got involved. She actually she recognized some other people in the crowd and asked them to come in and give like what happened. So they had surmised that it started at school. Therefore, it's a school issue. And then when my dad got involved, they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, we have video of this. We can just turn it over to the authorities, and they can just press charges." And I was like, I'll eat in the tiny little room next to the office.
You're like, Dad,
Like,
go home. I got this.
Dad, I got it. We're good now. I take the deal.
Yeah.
Dealio.
I plead guilty,
But
and
yeah, no, but that dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's my level of aggression. If it comes to that, which I didn't think it was going to come to, like a Channing Tatum movie, but if it comes to like
Channing
you're
Tatum.
actively like you're actively going after somebody that either can't or won't defend themselves,
right,
and you're clearly in the wrong, I'll intervene to a certain point. But then if you're
Right.
a royal cunt about it after that, then it's personal.
right. No, and I totally agree. I think that's just the general attitude that people need to take in those situations. Like, you know what? Don't just like randomly fuck with somebody. Like, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we ended up fighting again like 5 years later.
Apparently, didn't have enough the first time around.
Well,
5 years later, you were out.
I was
You guys
yeah, I
were
was
out of
being an
school at
asshole that
point?
time. Yeah. This was like a
Damn.
college party, and he was there. And which, by the way, he didn't show up for like a week after that at school.
Yeah, no
And
shit.
he finally came back, and he looked like he went 2 rounds with Tyson.
Jesus.
And it was bad. I regret nothing. But
Right.
we met again at a college party. I think it was at App State, and we were being friendly. And
Mhm.
but then he started being condescending and shit, and I was like, all right, well, we won't have that. Like, that's not welcome here. And then he literally was like, oh yeah, well, just throw it out. What ifs? Like, well, what if we fight now? What would you think about now? And I was like, dude, I would beat the brakes off your face again. And now, granted, think about it. Me as a sophomore is not nearly as intimidating as me as a 19-year-old.
Right.
Because me as a 19-year-old, I'm fully grown. I'm still carved out of wood, and I know more. Like, why
Right.
would you
You're more
listen?
experienced.
Unless you lived out the movie Batman Begins, don't try, because it's not going to work out
Right.
for you. You gave me your best shot, and it barely phased me.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, as far as like you were saying, I don't know what's your opinion, because apparently you think I'm an aggressive person that likes to get in a fight.
No, I think you used to be, and that's by your own admission. Not that you like to get in fights. It does seem to be something that happened more in your life when you were younger. And I mean, we've had a lot of conversations. Obviously, like you're just a much different person now than you were like 15 years ago, and I think most people probably are. People just change over
Right.
time.
Except for this particular Kevin, apparently he never changed.
Right, and yeah, and as I said, most people, is you start getting to the sub 90 IQ people, like we've talked about in the beginning of the episode, and change is a little bit more difficult for them to take on. So, but yeah, no, I don't. I mean, obviously, no, I don't think you're an aggressive person or anything like that. It's just funny to. I mean, even when I first met you, like I wouldn't say you were aggressive. There's some instances where you're just more combative, like where you could just let something go. And it's not because you, like I said, like you want to create tension or violence or have a moment like that or anything. It's just simply because you come from you just come from a place where like I need to protect myself first and foremost. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. That's one thing that I've tried to work on, that just like I can't. I'm trying to smooth it out. It's still kind of a dull edge. I'm trying to get it to a smooth surface, but
Right.
it's like sometimes I just can't let shit go. Like when I know you've transgressed, when you've
Right.
overstepped the line, and I don't get the appropriate level of apology or whatever response that I guess my psyche needs or requires, then it just like, here we go. Like,
Right. Right.
I will follow you to the end of the earth and back, but you will be mine.
Right. And I think I just think it comes with time. Like you take more of a dismissal. Like I'm more dismissive of people in situations like that where I'm just like, you're not even worth like having an argument with, let alone having a fight with.
Right.
I'm just gonna go about my day, and I and like forget that you ever existed because you're fucking worth nothing, right? So that's just the way that I've only been in 2 fights in my entire life, and they were both when I was a very young child. So
Yeah.
like they didn't even really count. So
Well, and that's, when I was younger, that was a point of pride. But now, like, when I look back on it, like, I don't know how many fights I've been in. And that's not a point of pride for me
Right.
because most of them could have been avoided.
Right. Right.
Now,
And
there are definitely some that couldn't have been avoided, but there are some, like, because the difference is I'm not some of the people that I've mentioned in that story. I do have other tools in my arsenal.
right.
Like, I can destroy you mentally, I can destroy you emotionally.
You're
I
not the
can play the
fucking
long
animal just
I can
walking
yeah, I can
around.
play the long game. I don't have to be fucking like some of these people that don't have the resources. It's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to hit you now.
Right, exactly.
Um, and
Um,
that's I'm tooting my own horn, but I've worked on it. I've learned some techniques. It would be cool. See, maybe Dildo could be my therapist, so we could spend
I
like
think we're gonna definitely have a
10
good
minutes a
session.
Saturday.
I think Dildo has a lot to say, not just about your life, but also his, and and the kind of life that we live here. So yeah, I think that could be productive.
As long
But
as Dildo doesn't spill any of Philbo secrets.
well, that might happen too. You know that'll happen from time to time. It's fine. It's part of a Dildo's charm. So, but but anyway, the good news is about this woman, bringing it all the way back to this woman getting punched at a Lowe's for trying to do the right thing. She didn't get fired. She was retained by Lowe's, and I think these guys got arrested considering their photos are up on the fucking story.
Right. No, they
Yeah,
submitted them themselves.
yeah, exactly. Um,
But the five
they
dollars they
submitted it
saved from the
themselves.
splash
Come
pad.
and get me. Here's what I look like. I live at
Right.
555 Cherry Lane. Come and get my
You'll
ass.
never catch me.
Right. Which okay, well, and the big part of that story is like Georgia doesn't have a law like California, like where it's like you can basically steal everything off the shelves, and the cops won't get you until you hit a certain number. Like that's not how it is here. So like I don't know why they were
Right.
thinking like we can just go in and shoplift and it will be completely fine.
Right. No, shoplifting is definitely a punishable
Right.
offense.
And it's one thing to like steal a thing of lipstick. Like most people aren't going to go to jail for that. The store people will just be like, "Come on, stop fucking around and give it back and go be on your way." But like when you start taking like thousands of dollars worth of stuff, then
Right.
yeah, there's a problem.
Right. Like a cart full of shit and you assault employees.
Right.
It's yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. At that point, you're at least spending you're at least going to be overnight, if not a week, in jail before they figure out a court date for it. So
Right, because there's only like 10% of courts in America that would actually convict the employee for assalting them.
right.
But
And
and
none
they're
of
all
them
in
are in the
California.
southeast. Yeah, I
So
was gonna
yeah.
say none of them are in Georgia.
Right. They're all in
um,
South they, they're all in South Florida.
right. God
Um
damn. But I think we should stick with the theme because we've talked extensively on this podcast about our favorite pop star slash rapper slash um celebrity dating guy, which is Machine Gun Kelly. And this is also another story that we had left over from previous weeks. But I think it merits taking a look at it because it also involves punching. And this is basically a fighting podcast episode at this point because we've done nothing but talk about fighting. So I think we should just keep
right.
rolling with that theme. Um, so in this case, this wonderful individual here, Machine Gun Kelly, who is like admittedly pretty much our favorite guy at this point. We talk about him more than probably any other celebrity at this point.
Isn't his real name like Connor?
It's something ridiculous. It's like Tanner, you
Yeah.
know. It's something like really unassuming.
Right. They're not trying to keep that name out of the splash pad.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And he shows he's actually he's physically whiter than 90% of the people at the splash pad. So they would just be they wouldn't even give him a second thought. They would just wonder, like the ginger kid, if he's gonna get more sunburn than it's worth being out there.
Right.
So, but no, so he was at the Orange County Fair after dude so he decided apparently indelicately complimented Megan Fox. I don't know exactly what he said in the story.
He
Like
said, "You're hot as fuck."
right,
Or no, I'm sorry, "You're beautiful as fuck."
right. So which interesting approach for that, like not to be I mean, like, kind of harassing, I guess you could make it it's a little bit like out there, but like unless the guy's like up in her face like, oh fuck me, Megan Fox, like, it's a pretty innocuous comment, especially when you're somebody in the public eye. Like you're gonna like that's just something that happens.
Right, and you're surrounded by security.
Right.
Just say, "Hey, listen, I don't want to hear that right now. Go take
Right.
care of that."
Right, exactly. Just there's other ways to handle this, but this high IQ individual, Machine Gun Kelly, decides to take it into his own hands and just whops the guy, gives him one old wallop right into the face.
Right, the higher IQ guy that you're seeing there,
Right, exactly. um,
it's calling people beautiful as fuck.
right, exactly. So, retaliated with a slap. He says his youngest brother tried to punch him back but missed. Also, why does Megan Fox look like she's in middle school right here in this picture? Like, I
Well,
don't
she's
quite follow that. I don't
that's
quite follow that, but
that's
that's okay.
that's the that's the most recent work she's had done. It's
Yeah,
a
no
13-year-old girl.
And isn't she like 40 something at this point, or like she's at least in her late
Mm,
30s?
I think she's like my age. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's like the clothes she's wearing. She's wearing like a bra and then whatever that like jacket is, and then a mini skirt or jean shorts, whatever the fuck that is.
Right.
She literally, and then it's not that she's short. Machine Gun Kelly is just like 6'3" or something. So she literally looks like a middle school girl in this photo, but whatever.
Yeah,
And
dude,
then
he's tall as fuck, man.
yeah, he is pretty fucking
You
tall.
can that's a video. You can play that video. By the way.
Might as well. I mean, fuck it. Um,
You can see the swipe because this is Machine Gun Kelly clearly assaults someone.
this look kind of seems to be the aftermath of it. Yeah, she literally. It's so funny. Dude, the whole fucking video too. She looks young as fuck. I don't know if you can really see it here in the beginning. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the
All right.
aftermath of him swinging. And then
Yeah.
security steps in and is like, okay, we got this. You know,
Yeah.
instantly gets broken up. But
Yeah.
talk about a fucking towel, dude.
He is a
Talk about
fucking
a fucking
towel.
towel.
Look, let me just go out on a limb and say, listen, if you have more than 7 figures in at least one bank account, don't go to a local fair. Look, that's just and if you need the fair, then just fucking rent it for a day and have them set it up at your estate. Like,
Right.
don't, because the local people that go to fairs, I don't care if you're in Orange County or Gaston County, people that are going to the fair is look, the best case scenario, they call your girlfriend beautiful as fuck. The worst case scenario,
They're charging
you're
you a
just
dollar for the splash pad.
right. You can't get to the splash pad.
Right.
And look, just fucking stay at home, swim in a pool of money, then go fucking get in your real pool. And I just don't believe. I think that's a place for the commoner. I don't think nostalgia is owed to people that make that much money especially that don't have that much talent.
Well,
Like,
and it makes me wonder because this is the Orange County Fair, and Orange County is like that super wealthy area. So it makes me wonder if it's just kind of like they're playing pretend to be like, I wonder what it's like to have very little money and go to a county
so
fair for a
at
day.
the Orange County fair, so it's like the splash pad, except for they're profiling at the gate. Like, all right, so
Right.
you're in, you're
Yeah.
in.
They're
All right,
checking your
it's gonna be
Instagram followers.
it's gonna be
at the gate.
$5,000 for you, bud. Nobody
Right.
else. Hey, cough it up. Nobody else had a problem.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
No, they're
So,
on the list. I don't want to talk about the list. They're on the list. Don't worry about that.
right.
This is me and you here. But at the same time, I mean, the super wealthy, like, look, Machine Gun Kelly and her, they're gonna have a problem at the local fair just because they're polarizing fucking people that talk shit and do whatever. Like,
Well,
Tom
not
Hanks
only
is
that,
worth.
but people know who
Look,
they
Tom
are.
Hanks is worth more than fucking both of them combined for 18 lifetimes.
Right.
And for some reason, I don't think he would be harassed at a local fair.
Well, but probably people wouldn't be able to recognize them outside of a movie.
You don't think you would recognize Tom Hanks?
I don't think most people would, simply because like how he looks like not with makeup on in a scene is he kind of looks like he kind of looks like the problem is I would say he kind of looks like Bill Murray, like in the same type of like old guy removed, except that Bill Murray is still so fucking recognizable as Bill Murray because he goes out. So it's kind of a harder, like probably more like a Jack Nicholson in his older age, where he still kind of looks like Jack Nicholson, but he's it's just because he's older now, he looks a little bit different. I feel like most people wouldn't recognize him just out in public. Now, the fact that he's walking around with 5 security guards might give it away.
Right.
But
now, what if he had $2 million worth of plastic surgery and wore a tube top and a miniskirt?
What if he just wore the Wilson volleyball on his head the entire time he's gone?
Oh God, I just think that there are some things that maybe should be reserved to the common folk.
You and me.
Because dude, I don't even really like a county fair.
Well,
So
I mean, I think it's one thing if you have young kids because it's kind of like an experience for them to go and do. But dude, county fairs, that's the other thing, man. These fairs, they're not clean. They're not really that fun. Like maybe there's a Ferris wheel and like one of those spinorama thingies, and but that's only got so much. Like how much time are you going to be spending there? Maybe you get a funnel cake and a deep fried
that's what I'm
Oreo, but
saying.
like what the fuck else is going on?
You've got like half a dozen rides that Mater and his buddies just unloaded off the back of a truck. Like
Exactly.
And yes, they've been drinking the whole time. They've been here for
100%. Yeah, he's 30 Miller Lights in at this point. So.
Oh yeah, no. Look, his hand's not on the gate just to look cool. He's holding himself
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
If you tip him a 5 spot, he'll crank it all the way to full speed. I promise.
All right, well, Zito's let me know it's time to go to the chop shop. We're gonna cut the episode a little on time today because we got places to be and things to do. Hold on a second. All right, sorry, got to get him under control for a second. He's excited. But I'm gonna play the chop shop audio real fast. Yeah, there we go. All right, love it. So once again, this was a no chop episode, and it's mostly because we just rambled about shit for about an hour and a half. So
yeah, and I'll dole out a couple chops here.
Oh, I got one too, but I have a feeling you're probably gonna take one of mine. So go ahead, but you go first.
Okay. So I'll chop the episode, and I'll chop both of us for getting too fucking political because we know better than that. And that's not what we're about. So that one's gonna stand, except for I'll appeal in the future, but I just chop myself.
Ultimately, somehow you won't get one, but I'll still get one. Yeah, I know how it works.
Yeah, right. So the other one is going to be for both of us as well. Because we haven't talked about baseball in 2 fucking episodes.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen today either. But there's a lot to talk about.
And we also didn't celebrate our 20th episode, so
that's like 3 chops. Oh
god, that's 3 chops. Look,
god damn, bro.
I'll have Dildo file the paperwork to
sounds like a plan.
Contend mine at a later date. But what's your chop?
My chop. Well, actually, I have 2. I'm gonna chop Kevin at the small town, trying to keep out a certain group of people. I'm gonna chop Machine Gun Kelly for fucking going after some random guy at a fucking county fair for saying his super famous sex icon girlfriend was beautiful.
Yeah, as fuck.
Yeah, like what a dumbass. Anyway, so those are my chops. Those are your chops. There's the football from last night's bonus episode, our first movie night for the room. Go check it out. Come check us out. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Twitch where we're live right now. So always come check us out. We got a whole bunch of episodes in the library. All the archives are on YouTube if you want to catch up. They're also all of the audio podcasts, obviously. That library is available on Apple Podcasts. So we'll be here forever because we ain't going away because we don't have lives. So we're just going to keep doing this over and over again.
Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for months.
Exactly. For several months. For 21 episodes. For 21 episodes.
21 episodes plus 1.
The show can legally drink now. So I think that's a pretty good milestone.
By the way, the movie night, let me just tack this on. The movie night was very successful. We got a lot of good feedback on it, so that will not be our last. We have many more to come. So we have a couple ideas on some movies coming up. We're not going to spoil it right now. Obviously, we're waiting on Ninja to come out. We'll keep you guys updated as we check our racist calendar. But
for some reason, we don't search it out, but for some reason, it comes up on the show.
For some reason, it's the first thing that pops up on my phone in the morning.
Right.
But, anyway, as we said earlier, the best way to get in contact with us is going to be TikTok. So hit us up. That's our TikTok, Dicking Around, WJAP. Let us know if you guys have any movies or any suggestions that maybe you'd want us to throw up and shit on.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and anything else, any feedback, that's the best way to get a hold of us. I know we fall silent after every Saturday episode, but I have recently had people reaching out on TikTok, so I
Legit.
definitely check it. Philbo, I don't even know if he has the app, but I do moderate that. So
Hey, China no trustworthy, baby.
China no fucking trustworthy, but these are our peeps. So
Oh yeah.
Reach out to us. Let us know how you like the show. Anything you want us to talk about, see, throw us a movie night suggestion. Love to hear from you.
That's still a big premise in our show. We'll talk about anything the community suggests. We'll go ham on it. We like literally the first time we had a subscriber, we talked about World War One for about 20 minutes. Even though we were drunk as fuck, it still was a coherent discussion somehow. So we can hit a wide range of topics. So don't be afraid. We will, but in the meantime, be a little bit afraid because you won't hear from us for a week. But we will catch you next Saturday at 5 p.m. where we will be dicking around here once more. So until then. Peace. That's always our sign off. Peace out.